Yo guys, what is up? Back again. Today we're changing the oil on my 1990 Geo Tracker. And so I've got the hood popped here. I went to O'Reilly's just now and bought the filter and the oil, and they had a really good deal on it actually, so that was really nice. But while I've got the hood popped and while I'm waiting for the engine to cool down, because I just drove over there, so I'm going to wait for it to cool down a little bit so that I don't get like hot oil all over my hands and stuff. But once it cools down and stuff like that, or while I'm waiting for that to do that, I'm going to check all my fluids and stuff really quick. Just a good time to check everything else, check tire pressure and everything. So I'll go ahead and do that and continue when I'm done with all that. Now that fluids are filled and tires are filled, I think I'm ready to change the oil. Normally I would do a tire rotation during this process as well, since I do have a hydraulic lift as well as some jack stands and stuff like that. And then I've got, of course, the big air compressor so that I could hook up some air tools to it to remove the tires real quick and stuff like that. But obviously I'm kind of crunched for time right now, so I'm going to just do it later. But for now, let's get to it. So first things first, you're going to want to drain the oil, and what you're going to need is definitely some sort of oil pan so that you can pour the oil in it, and then take it somewhere like O'Reilly's or someplace and have them dispose of it for you. But I've got an oil pan here. It's actually got a little bit of oil in there right now, but not too much, so I'll be able to just pour mine in there with it. So first, to drain the oil, it's really simple on these cars. So you go underneath the car, and it's going to be like pretty much one of the only bolts like exposed at the bottom here by the pan. My flashlight right there, shining on, that's the bolt that you're going to want to take out, and that's going to drain all the oil. And so that's so that you can kind of get an idea of where underneath the tracker here it is. So that's the bolt that you take out, and you're going to want to place your oil pan directly underneath it. And I recommend getting some sort of like rag or something like that. I've got an old t-shirt here that I don't wear anymore. I've got a bunch of them around this garage. That way you can just clean up some of the mess, because it can get pretty crazy. So
anything else?
Where do you come from? Classified, really? Me too.
Boyfriend was that storm.
The resistance.
That storm.
alright. So now, as you can see, the oil is draining out right there. There it goes. And it was definitely time for me to change the oil. Definitely waited too long, so don't do that. But as you can see, just in case, I've got this little mesh here on top of the thing. Just in case that bolt pulls out, it's nice to have it be able to catch in there without having to like reach your hand in the oil. Also, I grabbed the t-shirt when I was doing this, and just wrapped my hand with it just in case the oil was still warm, and I think it is still pretty warm even though I waited a little bit, but just precaution or whatever. But here's the bolt for the oil pan, and now I just gotta wait for the rest of this to drain out. By the way, the wrench size I used to get this out was an 11/16, and it fit perfectly for this guy, so yeah. The next thing I'm gonna do is take out this oil filter. It's really easy to get to. It's just right down there, and I'll actually grab the flashlight. It's right there. It's that white thing I'm trying to light on. So literally, you just kind of go through here, and luckily this engine bay is really open, so reach your hand down and unscrew it, and it'll come out. And I'm actually going to place that t-shirt right underneath it. That way, just in case it drips, it'll drip onto the t-shirt. If you have an oil drip pan or something, that'll work just as good, but I'm just going to use this t-shirt. So just when you're reaching down here, especially if the car's still warm. Just be careful that you don't burn your hands. In fact, I'm going to grab a rag because my car is still pretty hot in here. So I'm just going to use this rag to cover my hand with. And then you just reach down in here and start unscrewing it. Alright guys, so actually a crap ton of oil started to come out once I took the filter off. And so I actually just ended up moving this pan closer to that where that filter was, and it was still able to cover both where this is dripping down here and then where the oil filter was starting to leak. So here's the old filter, and I'm gonna go ahead and grab the new one and put it in. Alright, so before I pour the oil back in, of course you gotta remember, screw that bolt back in on the bottom, and then the new filter has been screwed in there. And so now I am ready to pour the oil. The oil goes in right here, so you just unscrew this cap here and start pouring it in. So go to O'Reilly's and just tell them what kind of car that you have, and they'll give you the exact type of oil and filter you need. Alright, so I'm going to grab a funnel, if I can find one. There we go. Got a funnel right here. The oil I got, there's 5 quarts in here, and I'm only going to put about 4.5 quarts. Alright, let's do this.
This Chuki production.
Last thing I'm going to do before I start driving it is I'm actually going to fire up the air compressor again, and I noticed that I really need to spray this air filter clean. I'm just going to use the compressed air just to clean that off. Oh yeah, look at that. Look at the difference. That's crazy. Alright, so it already looks like 10 times better, so I'm glad I did that. And now I just need to put this oil cap back on. Take this out. And now we are ready to go, guys. So thank you for watching, and I will upload again at some point, and we'll see you then. So.
Where the poop go? Where the poop go? Where the poop go? Where the poop go? Where can my poop go? Where the poop go? Where